Today I bid farewell to my amazing staff, some of whom are in the gallery, my wonderful colleagues on both sides of the aisle, constituents, and the myriad of unsung heroes to whom our entire nation owes a debt of gratitude. I thank you all from the top of my heart. And to my amazing family all around the country that has stood by me in times of both great joy and pain, my mother Dee Dee, my late father Eddie, my brothers Tyler, Jay, and Bobby, my sisters Hutton and Lily, and my treasured daughters Daniela and Pia, who compelled me to run for Congress in 2018. I love you all with all my heart. I depart this august institution with a combination of deep gratitude, a little bit of attitude, and a healthy dose of American optimism. And to those who are pleased to see this affable but outspoken gadfly ride off into the sunset, I am sorry to say that my mission to restore common sense and a home for the exhausted majority of center-left and center-right Americans is just beginning. It is a mission whose roots were not planted here in Washington or back home in Minnesota, rather 8,000 miles away on Dragon Mountain in Pleiku, Vietnam, where my father, Captain Artie Peffer, was killed fighting in a war in which he did not believe, but for a country in which he believed very deeply. So last year I traveled to the very ground on which he took his last breath, and it is where I took my first. He died just 4 days after the Apollo 11 moon landing, and I've often pictured him along with 500,000 other young soldiers looking up in awe that morning, many probably in tears, as two fellow Americans achieved the unthinkable. They got a glimpse of America at her very best up there, while we were at our very worst down here. And I picture our predecessors in this very room voting to fund both that giant leap for mankind and that giant tragedy for mankind, all in the same year. On my flight home from Vietnam last year, I reflected on my father and the 1 million, yes, 1 million Americans who've been killed in service to our country since 1776. And I thought to myself, they did not sacrifice their lives for members of Congress to act like kindergartners. They did not sacrifice their lives for members of Congress to spend 10,000 hours per week begging for campaign cash used to eviscerate fellow Americans running for office. They did not sacrifice their lives for members of Congress to do nothing, as 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. They did not sacrifice their lives for Congress to do nothing, as 500,000 Americans go bankrupt every year from medical debt, and 26 million go without any health insurance at all. They did not sacrifice their lives for Congress to do nothing, as 50,000 Americans die from gun violence and another 100,000 from overdoses every single year. They did not sacrifice their lives for Congress to do nothing, as wealthy industries shower millions upon millions of campaign cash on the very committee members who set the rules for their industries. And then Congress allows each party to collect dues from those committee members to fund their campaigns. It's legalized corruption, and it's unacceptable. My father and 1 million Americans did not sacrifice their lives for Congress to enable two private corporations, the two major parties, to maintain a virtual monopoly on our democracy. And having paid the ultimate price themselves, they surely did not sacrifice their lives for members of Congress to prioritize their own self-protection over their principles. However, they did sacrifice their lives because of decisions made in this very room by people just like us. So as I bid farewell, I humbly ask all the members of the next Congress on both sides of the aisle to call on your better angels and act with courage, not cowardice. The courage to compete with our ideas rather than defeat one another with our ideologies. The courage to fix our problems rather than fixate on our politics. The courage to replace condemnation with invitation, and the courage to replace confrontation with common sense. In closing, I believe that we all have a choice to make, all of us. Do we wish to be a nation that metaphorically goes to the moon together, or one that goes to war against one another? As a free people, that choice remains ours, all of ours. As Albert Einstein, a notable immigrant to the United States of America, famously said, The world is a dangerous place, not because of those who do evil, but because of those who look on and do nothing. I believe in us. I love you all, and I'll see you down the road. Godspeed. And with that, I yield back.